Just got done with a disgusting leg day. Remember back to your time that you felt your most socially anxious. You were at some social gathering, you felt absolutely sick to your stomach. You were neurotically obsessed over what other people thought of you. You couldn't look at anyone, you couldn't make eye contact with anyone, you felt like you wanted to die. I've been there. I've been in situations where I've literally been in the corner hoping that no one would look at me because I couldn't stand the judgment of other people. I remember being this way for more than a decade of my entire life. I'm 18 now, so that's the majority of my life. That's more than half of my life I've been that way. I would want to go out and be around other people, but once I got to whatever event I was going to, I would sink in on myself and shut down to other people. I would become obsessed with what other people thought of me. And then I was just miserable the entire evening or the entire time I was there, wanting to get out of my shell, but feeling too miserable to actually get out of it and enjoy myself. But there's one mindset that I've adopted that in the last 2 years, I've been able to make good, close friendships. For the last 2 years, I've barely passed a day where I don't meet somebody new. I'm completely comfortable with being around new people. And like my anxiety, it's not only that my anxiety has gotten less, it's completely disappeared. It's become entirely manageable and under my control, and it's turned more into an excitement for me because of this mindset shift that I've made, and it no longer cripples me from doing social things that I want to do. Making this mindset shift, there's no mental barrier to climb over. When I'm going to social events, it just comes very naturally to me now. And I've become the type of person that other people actually want to be around. I made this mindset and it completely changed my life in the last 2 years. So the mindset shift that I made 2 years ago that has absolutely transformed my social life and made me a much happier person is the simple understanding that I do not control what other people do, say, or think. I only control what I do, say, and think. This seems like a very simple mindset, like you already understand it. Like I just told it to you and you're like, well, no, duh. But it's very, very rare that people will actually consciously bring this thought to mind when they're in public and actually put it to practice. Try to think back to a time when you've actually done this, when you've consciously brought the thought that I do not control what other people do, say, and think. I control only my actions. Think about a time that you actually consciously brought that to mind and then tried to practice that. If you don't bullshit yourself and lie to yourself, I will guarantee that you've never done it once before. The reason this mindset works so well is because it gives you power. It gives you the power over the things that you have in your control. When you seek validation from other people and you're worried about what they're doing, saying, thinking about you, you lose all of the power over the things that you normally have power over. You forget about what you can do, what you can say, what you can think, and you're worried about everything that they're doing. That you give away this natural power that you have and you completely forget about it. This mindset gives you that power back to yourself and you stop making yourself weak in a social setting.
I mean, you're just sitting here for hours on end, basically. Could I do one more, please?
No, you cannot.
Like, no,
no. Dude, it's crazy.
That shit is
oh, and they were so shaky after, and then I was, because like, I mean, you work your entire leg when you do those, and so then your hamstrings and your glutes work. So then I was over trying to do hip thrusts, and I was so screwed. And then I was trying to do hamstring curls too after that, and it was like, nah, dude, you're not gonna do it.
That is the one thing is that.
When you seek validation from other people, you are placing all of your joy and peace of mind and self-integrity on what they're going to do, on their actions. And this leads you to never having true peace of mind. You can never be truly fulfilled as a person if all of your happiness is placed on what other people are doing. Because one day they're going to validate you in some specific way that you need them to validate you, something they say, some tone of voice they give you, some body language they give to you. But then the next day they're in kind of a bad mood and they don't validate you in those ways. And so then that brings you down too. So now your mood fluctuates based on what everyone else is doing instead of being what you actually want and what you actually need at the time. I did this for years. Again, more than a decade of my life doing this. And all it brought me was misery. My mental health went into the dumps because I couldn't be fulfilled in myself. I didn't have any sort of self-love and self-worth and self-integrity. So your social anxiety is coming from your inability to focus on what is in your power. This is a mindset that I actually found reading. Hold on, let me get it really quickly. This is a mindset that I actually found while reading the Discourses of Epictetus. This is written by his student Arian. I found this mindset in Book 2, Chapter 13, titled On Nerves. And he's talking about exactly what we're talking about here. He's talking about social anxiety and social nervousness. And he has a fantastic quote that sparked this mindset for me. Whenever I see a person suffering from nervousness, I think, well, what can he expect? If he had not set his sights on things outside man's control, his nervousness would end at once. The reason that you're anxious is because you've given all of your power away. All of your peace of mind and self-integrity is reliant upon what everyone else is doing, but this is not in your control. It's so unpredictable, you will never be fulfilled in yourself. It's no wonder that you feel so helpless, so powerless when you're socially anxious, because you've ignored the things that you have power over in favor of things that you could never dream of having any control over. You want what you cannot have, and you do not want what you can't refuse. That's another line from the Discourses and in that same chapter. You want control over what others are doing and saying and thinking, and don't just care for the things that are already yours. Your powers of aversion, of impulse, of justice, of acting charismatically. You have zero power over what others do, say, and think. Sure, you can influence what they do, say, and think, but at the end of the day, this is up to them. You have to be happy with some of the influence that you have and have peace of mind knowing that you did your best. You put effort forward. I can approach that girl and act as charismatically as I am possibly capable of doing, and I can influence her to give me her number. But at the end of the day, it's completely up to her. She will decide in the end whether she's going to give it to me or not. You cure your social anxiety by recognizing the powers that you hold and not worrying about those that you don't. Your social anxiety is bred from an obsession with the outcome of the interaction, right? You're basing your social success on whether or not that girl validates you, on whether or not she gives you her number, on what she thinks of you, if she has a positive view of you in her mind or not. Your social anxiety will disappear when you can focus your mind on your power to behave as charismatically as you can and your ability to allow the outcomes to be whatever the outcomes are, and then allowing yourself to be happy with the effort that you put forth, that you tried your hardest, that you put forth valiant effort. It didn't go perfectly the way that you necessarily would have liked, but you have that peace of mind and integrity knowing that you're someone of worth, that you put forth effort, because true peace of mind can only come from within. It can only come from being simply happy with the effort that you've put forth, knowing that, again, you're a man of integrity. You put forth effort to at least attempt to accomplish something. You can respect past you for doing that. Future you will respect current you for doing that, and you'll only build more self-integrity, more self-respect, more confidence, more self-love, more joy and peace of mind because of that. This is the mindset of the Stoics, and I believe it's the absolute best mindset that anyone could adopt. Because let's say that you want a certain outcome, a certain grade, a certain girl's number. You want to have success with a certain prospect that you're going to be selling to. You put forth the time and the effort week upon week, day after day, to prepare yourself to be able to win the thing that you want. And that's completely admirable. But let's say you get to the day of doing that thing, of winning the goal that you wanted, and you fail. You miss the mark with the grade. You don't get the girl's number. The prospect says no, and you're completely crushed because you were focused on the decisions that everyone else was making, and you gave away all of your power. Now you've lost the opportunity to learn from your mistakes and to do better, to be happy with the journey and simply improving your skill and be really fulfilled in your purpose. But let's say instead, when you were preparing to win those goals, because those goals, there's nothing inherently wrong with them. They're very admirable goals. But let's say that they were just a little bit of extra niceness. But what you're really focusing on is just putting forth your best effort and improving your skill. Now, when you go and you fail at the thing that you wanted, you're still happy with yourself. You can still look yourself in the mirror and say, well done. You've tried your best. What did we learn? We learned this and this and this. We did that wrong, but we can do this better next time. And you're still happy with yourself, even though things didn't go perfectly the way you would have liked them to go. You're focused on the things you control, not on the things that everyone else controls. There's so many variables, an infinite number of variables to outcomes in life, that to put all of your joy and peace of mind in those, you'll never be happy. You'll never be truly fulfilled. You will end up disappointed again and again and again in life if you're just focused on the outcomes that you get. But if your peace of mind and your joy and your self-integrity comes from simply knowing that you put forth your best effort, you can never be disappointed. Now, a note here is that it's foolish for us to not care whatsoever about what other people think of us. I'm not saying to be some sort of narcissist and to not care about other people's opinions. You obviously naturally care about what other people think about you. You care about what they think your hair looks like, what your clothes are, the way that you carry yourself, right? You do care about those things. And there is an objectively right and wrong way to behave charismatically. You don't just get to do what you want all the time. But this is exactly what we want to focus our attention on. Our power to control what we're doing, saying, and thinking. And then to be able to take in information and learn well from our mistakes, and then try again and fail again, but learn more until we reach the success that we really want. And right, doing this is the complete opposite of validating yourself to other people. You're behaving in a way that you believe is the right way, and then whatever the outcome is, you can study and see what mistakes you made or the good things that you did, and then recalibrate for next time to do better, or to repeat something good that you did but do it even better than before. At this point, there's no mask that you have to wear. There's no validation you're seeking from other people. You can take your mask off and you can act as your truly authentic self. Right, my sister put it perfectly to me once. She said, you don't want to become someone other people like, you want to become a likable person. Not shooting to get other people to like you. You're becoming a charismatic and confident person so that the people that do like you can gravitate towards you. Now, to be able to put this mindset into practice, it's just going to take time and effort. Look at it like leveling up a skill in a video game. You have to start at a low level and work the smaller quests until you can level up to harder quests, and then from there to harder quests, right? Until you can finally master it. It's as simple as starting out by, when you go in public next, this is the actionable step I want you to do. Take a deep breath and just bring this mindset to mind. And once you do this over time, you'll not only call it to mind, but start to practice it. You will start to worry less about what other people think about you. You'll start to focus more on your own desires and what you really want to do with yourself. I hope this video helped you out. Shut out the noise, do the work.